This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions in Nashville, Tennessee, this is The Ramsey Show, where we take calls about your life, your money, your relationships, your mental health, whatever's going on in your life. Let us know. We're here to walk alongside you. 888-825-5225. I'm John Deloney, joined by my good friend George Camel, and we're ready to talk about anything, all of it. Give us a shout. 888-825-5225. Let's go to James in Indianapolis. Hey, James, what's going on?
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I'm first time, and I'm just starting. I'm on step 2, just did my first budget, but I'm realizing I have $70,000 in debt, and I have a house that I don't use that has $70,000 in equity. I'm a truck driver. I live in my truck every day. Should I sell the house to pay my debt?
First, I just want to congratulate you, man. How'd you find us?
A friend recommended me to Dave Ramsey Plus.
Very cool. Well, welcome to our crazy gang. You're going to change your life, and we're honored to walk alongside you as you solve for freedom here. So
I like that. This is an interesting scenario here. So you live in your truck, and you're saying, I have my primary residence, but I'm never there.
Never. In the last year and a half, I've slept there twice, and I didn't even want to do it then.
Wow.
I don't like the house.
Oh, you don't even like the house?
No.
Okay. Is there a scenario where you would need a place to crash if you couldn't sleep in the truck?
George, don't say crash to a truck driver.
Sorry. You're right.
Is there a place you'd want? Yeah, need to sleep.
Okay, I just found it.
There you go.
It took him a second.
I mean, a hotel if need be. My parents have an extra bed. I'm not hard up for. I'm not worried about it. I love sleeping in the truck, and my company will give me another truck if there's a problem with mine.
Cool.
Okay. Well, I'm not mad about this scenario. It sounds like you want to go all in. You're willing to do whatever it takes to climb out of the $70,000 in debt. What kind of debt is the $70,000?
There's about $20,000 IRS, $34,000 student loans, and I owe my parents about $10,000 and a couple other smaller bills.
Okay. I want you to put the IRS debt at the very top of that debt snowball and attack that one first. Does that sound good? You cannot get rid of those guys. You don't want them after you. And then you're going to list the debts from smallest to largest beyond that, attack the next one. And it sounds like you can do this in one fell swoop if you sell the house. Correct?
Okay.
James, I'm in. If I'm you,
I'm doing this.
If I'm you, I'm going all in on being a nomad, and I'd sell my house, and I'd be debt-free.
Now, you have a $1,000 emergency fund right now?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So have you done the math on closing costs and all of that, and you're saying I will get about $70,000 out of the whole deal if I sell?
No, this thought just occurred to me today, and I know I owe $35,000 on the house, but it's worth about $108,000.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay. I mean, I'd be working with a realtor right now. If you don't have one, I would go to RamseySolutions.com. You can connect with one of our ELPs, endorsed local providers in the Indianapolis area, who can walk with you through this process and make sure that you get the most bang for your buck, especially in this market. But, man, I love the heart behind this.
James, you make one call for free, and you're debt-free, man.
That's amazing. And get that emergency fund fully funded as soon as you're out of that debt, and you're going to be sleeping very soundly in that truck from then on.
And not crashing in the truck.
No crashing.
Just sleeping.
I'm sorry, John. I'm not thinking.
Oh, my gosh. You just put
Glad
some bad mojo out there. Let's go to Aubrey in New York City. What's going on, Aubrey?
How's it going?
Excellent.
How's everything?
Good. How are you?
All right. So I guess my question is, I'm a new watcher of the show and stuff like that. I've discovered you guys on YouTube pretty recently.
Welcome to the gang, man.
Our YouTube
awesome.
guys love to hear it.
Yeah, it's awesome. So I guess the reason why I'm calling is in May, I graduated college. I've been working since September in full-time job. I'm making $37,000 a year, which in New York is pretty much the minimum wage here.
Right.
Obviously things here are very expensive and it's tough to be here. But recently my grandmother passed away, and she essentially left me $200,000. And I mean, I don't know the first thing about what to do, as far as moving forward. I'm 25 years old. I was living at home with her up until now, just trying to help out any way I can. And now that I'm, getting this money, I don't really know whether I should, what I should do. I mean, obviously buying real estate here is really expensive.
Yeah.
And I'm making so little that even to keep up with payments for like any type of mortgage or maintenance and stuff like that will be relatively difficult.
Aubrey, what do you do for a living, man?
Basically I work in ad sales. I'm an account executive.
In what sales?
In advertising.
Advertising.
Sales.
Okay. All right. Other than Texans who are incredibly obnoxious, and I'm one of them, so I'm just saying, is my friends from New York are really intense on this is, I don't care, it's $1 million a square foot, don't care, this is where I live. What is it about New York that is worth scraping by like you're doing financially? And here's what I'm asking. You've got a $200,000 gift. And by the way, I'm heartbroken over your grandmother's passing. I'm so sorry to hear that. But she left you a gift. What is it about New York that keeps you there? Could you go get a job as an ad exec in a city that is infinitely less expensive and really set yourself up financially with community, friends, that you could start somewhere else?
I actually work remotely, so I don't even benefit.
Oh, you can go anywhere.
Yeah, I can live anywhere in the country.
Are you open to going somewhere else?
I am, but honestly, I've never even gone on a vacation from here. I've been in New York my whole life, and I don't really know much else. I mean, the only place I've visited other than New York in the last 10 years out of state is Florida. So I am not opposed to leaving just because of, I mean, look, living here, I mean, the money doesn't really count for much here. Like it just
exactly
feels like
right.
Even if I use the money to buy a place here, the maintenance of living here is I'll still be living relatively paycheck to paycheck. My ability to save will be still negligible.
Right. Well, man, I know that's scary. If I'm you, I would take a little bit of that money and go somewhere. Go look around a little bit. But I think this is one of those watershed moments. You're 25, you've been caretaking for somebody that you loved, and they passed away. They left you this incredible gift, and you're being very wise about saying, what's the best way I can steward this gift? Is it to rent a 1-bedroom apartment for 18 months in New York, or is it to buy a 5-bedroom home in Kansas, or is it to, right? So you can live wherever you want, and sometimes it sounds ridiculous if you're in the opposite situation, but sometimes endless options is paralyzing too, right? And so here's what I want you to do, man. I want you to get with a trusted friend. I want you to get with a mentor who's a little bit ahead of you on the journey and sit down and say, I've got an opportunity to get out of here and go build a life where it's not so expensive, where I can build friends and community. Will you walk alongside me and make sure I don't do anything dumb with this money? And right now I just park that money, and you can drop it in an index fund. You can put it in a high yield savings account for a little bit until you have a next plan. But man, I want you to start thinking about getting out of there and using this money as to maximize it as far as it will go. We'll be right back.
Life is full of firsts. As the first and longest-serving Christian health cost-sharing ministry, CHM has shared medical expenses for its members since 1981. We believe you should have the freedom to focus on your health while being supported by a community of believers, giving you the opportunity to create many more firsts.
Triple 825-5225. I'm John Deloney, joined here by George Camel, and we are taking your calls on relationships and money and life. Give us a shout, 888-825-5225. Let's go to Nathan in Florida. Hey, Nathan, what's up?
Oh, hey guys, how's it going?
Outstanding, brother. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing all right.
Very cool. What's up?
Well, I'm coming up on the weekend, and I'm thinking real hard about. I'm on baby step 2, and doing pretty good on my budget. I had a few curveballs last month. I'm just crunching numbers, and it's just I'm not making the kind of headway that I'd like to make. I've got a little bit of a predicament here. I fixed a vehicle that was previously broke down and sitting in my yard forever. So now I have 2 vehicles at work, one that has 260,000 miles on and one that's got 60,000 miles. And the one that has 60,000 miles on it is half my debt. I'm $40,000 in debt, and that car is $20,000.
What kind of car is it?
So it's a Ford Focus.
Sell it yesterday.
What's it worth?
Sell it.
If you sold it today,
It's
what
$10,000,
would it be
right?
worth?
Well, I'm not sure. I was going to take a drive down to local dealer and see what they would give me for it. I hadn't really poked around too much on what I could sell it for, but like I said, I owe 20 on it, and I have 2 working vehicles. The only hang up is okay. Go ahead.
I was just wondering you're saying it'll be definitely worth less than 20 if you sold it today.
I thought you had $20,000 in debt total.
He's got 40 total. 20 is on the car.
Okay, all right.
So I'm wondering, could you sell this thing for 20 or more?
Well, I'm not sure of. I know the way that the car market is right now, that everything's just inflated on cars, and that's one of the reasons why I'm kind of considering it. And especially since I have a working vehicle on the side already. But the only hang up I have is it's a great time to sell a vehicle. It's not a great time to buy.
You don't need another vehicle right now. You've got one, right?
You got that beater, right?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is it is a beater of beaters. It's got 260,000 miles on it.
What kind of car is it?
It's a Ford F-250 with 4-wheel drive.
All right.
The goal here is not the goal. I want you limping along here, right?
Okay.
And if you tell me that this thing's safe and can get you from A to B, you're not going to get any dates out of this thing. And you're going to have to duck your head when you enter into in a grocery store parking lot. That's part of the deal, man. But
could you drive it 10,000 more miles without it exploding?
Well, I'm pretty confident on without it exploding. I mean, it's got dry rot setting in on the tires, but
we'll get some tires. Don't drive on rotten tires, right? But I don't want you to overthink this. I want you to be uncomfortable. You are running for your life here, brother.
Right.
Right? Now,
well,
you're not driving a death trap, but you're running for your life.
Right. Well, I mean, I guess what I'm getting at is, it's not the greatest on gas, unlike this little 4-cylinder car. And what I'm thinking is another possibility is sell both the vehicles and whatever money I can get out of the truck, go get me a little gas-efficient car. Or do you think I should just maybe I'm overthinking it and just run with it?
Dude, just rock that truck until the wheels fall off. And do it safely, of course. But you're not scared to fix a car, so that's good news. But that clears half your debt. I'm not worried about fuel efficiency. I'm worried about debt payoff efficiency.
What's your payment every month on the little car?
$321.
So
you would free that up, and you'd have that every month back in your life to attack the other debt. What's the other debt? The other $20K?
The other $20K is a mixture of personal loans and credit cards.
So we're going to list those smallest to largest at that point, and we're going to attack them with a vengeance, and every payment you free up is going to move this process along faster and faster. What's your income?
My income is sitting at just under $50,000 a year. Take home. I'm sorry, that's the take home.
Take home $50K.
Great.
This is great news. You're bringing over $4K a month, and we're going to tighten up that budget as far as we can take it to free up as much of the money to attack the rest of those debts.
And every time you get in that truck, I want you to say, I hate you. I'll never borrow money again. I hate you.
Give it a name.
Yes, give it a name. And oh my God, put all that angst and energy. I'm going to get rid of you. I'm going to save up some emergency fund. I'm going to get me another car.
John hates your truck more than you do, man.
I'm hating it for you.
And by the way, when you do your research, don't just go to a local dealership. I want you to check Vroom, Carvana, all of those sites. Check what it would get on private and Facebook Marketplace. Do your due diligence to get the most you can for this car.
And that you are in a beautiful spot because you got 2 cars. And so list it on a private sale and see what you can get for it. Give it a week. Give it a couple of days to see what you can happen, right?
I've heard crazy stories about Carvana just paying way over what they could even get in the market. So that's what I'm just saying. Just check them all out. It'll take you 5 minutes to go on those sites and plug in some numbers, and they'll go, hey, we'll give you $22,000 today, and we'll come pick it up.
But a gas conscientious car with 60,000 miles, that will do well.
Sure.
It'll do well. Good for you, brother. All right, let's go to Tyler in, where is Tyler? Birmingham, Alabama. What's up, Tyler?
Hey, guys. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you, brother?
I'm doing well. So I am a 23-year-old second-year medical student. My wife works full-time. She's been working full-time since we got married at 19, and I worked as an EMT full-time plus throughout undergrad. Our goal has always been to get through medical school debt-free.
Awesome.
And during undergrad, we were able to save about $60,000, which we have since spent on my first 4 semesters of medical school. Additionally, my parents set me up a student account for undergrad that thankfully I didn't have to use because I got a full ride scholarship to undergrad.
Wow. And
it has grown to about $45,000, which would cover my next 3 semesters. We haven't had to dip into it yet. We're down. We spent most of that savings. We're down to about $6,000, which is essentially a 3-month emergency fund for us. Mm-hmm. And basically, so we're lined up to pay for my next 3 semesters, and we're trying to figure out how we're going to pay for the last semester of medical school.
Cool. And you have 3 semesters to figure it out, right?
Right.
So you got some time.
And we're trying to save as much as we can. With our monthly cash flow, we're able to save, and not a ton, maybe $100 or $200 a month. To give you an idea about some of the other things financially for us, our primary residence we own, the mortgage has a balance of around $100,000 and it's worth around $190,000. We paid some on that throughout and have renovated it to be able to get that equity up. And we also have around $30,000 in our Roth IRAs between the 2 of us. And that's kind of a total view for us, and we're trying to figure out if there's anything we can do that we're not doing already to try to pay for that last semester of medical school.
Your new goal is to cash flow and invest in yourself, which means, this is hard to hear, we're not going to do any investing right now. Okay. We're going to pause that. If you're getting a refund, we're going to change your withholdings because that's going to give you a raise in your budget every month. We are going to be dead set on cash flowing this med school, and then that's it. That's all we're focusing on right now. And then when you graduate, you guys are so young. And you're already doing great. But right now, you got to focus on cash flowing this thing, and you only have $100 of margin to do it, which is going to be really tough.
And I'm going to tell you something crazy, and George, you can tell me this is a terrible idea. I would, you say you're 23, right?
23.
The chances of you getting through med school and then getting placed somewhere else are quite high, right?
It's going to depend. I'm going to attempt to match at my home university, but there is a chance.
Right. So
there is a chance.
I would strongly consider sitting down with my wife and saying, is this a moment where we sell this house? It actually earned us $90,000 in equity. We're going to get through school debt-free. We're going to get matched, and we're going to get a cool apartment in whatever city we get matched in and to finish up our residency. And then you're going to be done with med school. You're going to owe nobody anything. And then you can get the house of your dreams because all of your money will be yours.
That's not a terrible idea, John. You're right.
Really?
I like it.
Usually my ideas are terrible. Thanks, George. We'll be right back.
If you're not using Pure Talk for your wireless, you're paying too much. Pure Talk gives you the same great 5G coverage on the same 5G network as one of the big guys for half the cost. The average family saves over $800 a year. Go to puretalk.com and choose the affordable plan that's right for you. With their 30-day risk-free guarantee, you have nothing to lose. Go to puretalk.com and enter the promo code Ramsey to save 50% off your first month.
This is the Ramsey Show, 888-825-5225, and it is resolution season. And if you're like most people, you make resolutions on New Year's Day, and you give up on them by Valentine's Day. Have you already quit yours, George?
That's a personal attack, John. Not going to answer that. Yes.
You're not near as bulked up as you said you were going to be, but that's cool. Why do you fail, George? Because you're trying to figure it out on your own. So if you've decided to take control of your money this year, don't do it by yourself. Get the support and accountability you need by joining a Financial Peace University class. You'll go through our proven money plan with other people who will help you stay motivated because they're trying to get out of debt and build wealth just like you. Right now, there are hundreds of FPU classes getting started, both in person and online on the internets. So forget the lame resolutions, George. Make 2022 the year you take control of your money and don't do it alone. Find an FPU class and get started for free at RamseySolutions.com/FPU. That's RamseySolutions.com/FPU. Let's go to Jackie in Honolulu. Hey, Jackie, what's going on?
Hi. How are y'all doing?
Remarkable. How are you?
Great. So my scenario is my husband and I are on baby steps 4 and 6, no kids.
Congratulations.
He gets out of the Navy. Thank you. He gets out of the Navy the end of this month. I work as a real estate agent, so the pay is not often, or it's only when I close. And so far, that's been about every other month since last September. And so we're planning that we're going to be living out of our emergency fund, but we're kind of wondering, should we get part-time jobs to supplement this time? My husband's in a program right now to learn Java software development, and it won't be done till the end of May. So that's about when he could actually conceivably start getting a full-time job again.
So I'm going to let George hop in on this. I want a quick question. Across the United States, the real estate agents that I know have had better the last 24 months, better than they've ever had in their life, sometimes 2 and 3 times as much. Has it been different in Hawaii? Has it really been shut down?
It's not been different in Hawaii, but I just started the previous August, and it's a hard market here to get into.
There you go. Okay. All right. So you're just getting your feet underneath you.
Yes.
Very cool. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you're willing to do a part-time job or 2 or 3 right now, that's what I'm doing until I can pick up some of this real estate stuff and your husband gets through the program. Is this program full-time? He's not able to pick up a side job as well?
It's not full-time. He's planning on doing Lyft, seeing how that works out, doing, I think it's Lyft or Uber. He can only do one of them until he gets the Hawaii driver's license. So he's going to be trying to do one of those in the morning and then possibly in the evening some nights.
Very cool.
Sure. And he can also look into a lot of the delivery apps like Instacart and Shipt, and sometimes people can make even more money on those. And there's no one in your vehicle ever, which is kind of nice. So he can also look into a lot of those different apps, and you can make $20-$30 an hour. I use Instacart and Shipt all the time, and big fans of it, and you can make some great money just in tips. And you both can do that.
We're just, I think, yes. I actually mentioned to him getting a part-time job, and he's iffy on me getting a part-time job because that takes away from my ability to generate clients so that we can actually make some more money.
It's a push-pull.
I think we're just nervous.
Yeah, I think it's going to be nervous, but I'm not a huge fan of y'all in like making a plan to live out of your emergency fund, because then it's not an emergency fund anymore.
If you expect it, it's not unexpected.
Right. And so I would much rather see y'all scratch and claw. And you're right. Maybe you're out delivering things and you're handing cards to every person you see and you can use it. I don't know if
that would
that's
be cool.
even allowed to do that, but what's ways you can double dip and figure it out. But I do get there's a tension when you're trying to build a new business. You want to go all in and not split your attention, but you also got to eat.
But it's one of the most flexible things as well. You can just turn the app off. If you got a sudden real estate appointment, you kind of know your schedule. It's a little more flexible with real estate, so I would try to plan around it to go, I'm not in an office 40 hours a week, so I can plan to go, hey, I'm going to devote 4 hours to delivering some food right now from the grocery stores and make an extra $100.
And if you get a call on the way, you can talk to you can get it done.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Danielle in Reading, Pennsylvania. Hey, Danielle, what's up?
Hi there.
How are you?
Well, I'm a little stressed at the moment, so I'm calling to get some advice.
All right.
My adult daughter and her 2 children are living in my house, and she has always had a tendency to do things impulsively, and there's been a shortage of maturity, I will also add, to some issues that we've had. And recently, she has now started a new relationship, and I've seen some things that I don't like in her, and I feel like I want her to move out of my house, but I don't want it to be, you got to get out. I need maybe some guidance on how to work this out, because I want her to get out of my house.
Yeah. I just want to tell you, thank you for your spirit, and thank you for loving your baby girl. And also, this is hard, but thank you for having boundaries. And all of those feel like they're in tension with one another, and they are, but they're not all mutually exclusive. So you're heading into some choppy waters, but they're the right waters, and so good for you. So why did she come move into your house?
This is one of the impulse things. She went and kind of eloped, let's say, with someone she had been seeing for a short time. I'm going to say about 2 years or 2.5 years into it, he up and left her with her daughter and their 1-year-old at the time. And she wasn't generating enough income, and I would never let my loved ones just live in the street, so certainly come home.
Sure.
And I didn't feel like, you have 3 months, you have 6 months, and she hadn't been making money, but I will take the responsibility and say, I think that I have let it drag on too long.
There you go.
Because I've seen her not become more responsible and be taking steps to move out. She's quite comfortable, and now I feel like you're not just comfortable, but you're taking things for granted, and
you're enabling the behavior now.
Out.
There you go.
Right.
So here's what I want you to do. I want you to write her a letter, and I want you to go by yourself. And it may take a couple hours. It may take a couple of days. It may take 5 drafts, 1 draft. I don't care. But just get it right. And I want you to have a couple of parts in this letter. The first one is I want you to tell her how important she is to you, how much you love her, the things that you see in her life that you are proud of her about. I want you to let her know that. And it's important that you write this down, and I'll tell you why. But then I want you to talk about, here's how I've loved you, stepped in the gap, and here's the next way I'm going to love you, which is I'm going to walk alongside you as you leave the nest. And I want you to take her out somewhere. We joke here at the office. I'm always telling people to go to breakfast. Our friend Anthony likes to have these conversations at dinner. I think better in the morning, so I like breakfast. But I want you to take her somewhere, and I want you, and it may not even be in a restaurant. It may be in a private place. But I want you to read her this letter and then hand it to her. And here's why. When people are in this situation, as soon as they start to get a hint that I'm going to be homeless, or less specific, I'm getting abandoned again, I'm getting left again, their brain shifts. Their critical thinking literally goes offline, and their fight or flight takes over. And so they start hearing things that are not always real. When you write it down and hand it to them, she can reread it and reread it and reread it, and then eventually get to okay, my mom, even if I don't agree with it, in my mom's heart, she loves me. and she's trying to walk alongside me. I want you to stay on the line. I'm going to give you a copy of Total Money Makeover by Dave, and I want you to give that to her as a gift. I want you to help her make a budget. I want you to give her a ramp. Say, in 3 months, I'm gonna go with you to look at apartments. I'm gonna go with you to look at rental home, whatever that looks like. I'm gonna help you with your job. I'm gonna walk alongside you, but at this deadline is when we're moving out. Man, she's lucky to have you. Thanks for loving her. Thanks for caring about her, and thanks for doing this the right way. We'll be right back. This is the Ramsey Show. Let's go out to Linda in New York City. Hey, Linda, what's going on?
Hi, thank you so much for taking my call today.
Of course. How's it going?
I have a question. So my husband and I have been doing our best to, be financially free, be at peace with our finances. We're at a step where we're looking to purchase a property. In New York City, in the neighborhood we live in, most of the properties are around $1 million, if not more. So just getting into debt for $800,000 on a mortgage really scares us. So if you have any advice on how to proceed.
Well, it should scare you because that is a lot of money.
$800,000.
It's the biggest financial decision you will ever make in your life. So you have a healthy level of fear, but let's talk through the numbers and see where you guys are at. So you're out of debt and you have a fully funded emergency fund?
Yes, we have around $53,000 in an emergency fund.
Okay. Is that more than you need in the emergency fund, or is that appropriate for 3 to 6 months of expenses?
I think that would be a year where we try to be as conservative as possible.
Okay. Well, how much do you have for a down payment?
So far, we have around 130. By the end of the year, we can add in another 100. So around 230, 240.
Okay. What's your household income?
Around 300.
Okay, that's some good news there.
What do y'all do for a living?
My husband is in finance, and I've recently started also in finance.
Very cool.
So is your take-home pay around, let's say, $200,000?
Yeah, that would be fair.
Okay. So that means you're taking home around $16, $17 a month. And so with our parameters, what we want you to do is to put down 10 to 20%. At least 20 would help you avoid PMI, which is that private mortgage insurance, which on that massive loan would be hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month that you throw away to the lender to protect them and not you. So let's say you could put 20% down. And then let's say you did a 15-year fixed-rate mortgage, which is the only mortgage we would ever recommend. And then let's say you wanted to do it with our parameters and have that be less than 25% of your take-home pay, right?
Mm-hmm.
So based on my math, you're looking at, let's say, $4,200 for your mortgage payment. And so what I like to do is not look at, can we afford an $800,000 mortgage? I want you to say, if we can afford $4,200 a month on a 15-year fixed-rate mortgage with this much down, how much house does that let us afford? And right now, you might be able to buy a $600,000 house, let's say, which means we got to be more patient. We got to save up another $100,000. It may be another year. So what I like to do is use the Ramsey Solutions mortgage calculator. You can find that on our website, RamseySolutions.com. Click on free tools and start to play around with that. And don't let it make you live in fear, but let it give you freedom to start dreaming about what that next step is. And if that next step is, hey, I think we're going to be ready a year from now, that's great. Or if the step is, all right, we can afford a tiny condo, is that something that we're going to be happy with, or are we going to sit here with regret and still have $700,000 in debt? Then I'm going to pause and go, all right, yes, renting is the worst, and yes, it feels like we're throwing money away, but what if you saw it as buying yourself patience, and you saw it as we're going to get one step closer to our vision by renting for another year? That's a very different picture to paint. Do you feel that?
It is kind of scary because most of the houses in the neighborhood are not even beautiful. I mean, most of them are they would need renovation as well, even at $1 million.
Oh, yeah.
Are you locked into this neighborhood?
In terms of our work, we are, because we want to be close to the city.
Okay.
If we go more deep farther away from the city, we might get something for around 800, or maybe 700, but we're still at for 200K, or missing out on the neighborhood that we want to be in.
Sure.
And you're definitely wanting to stay in New York City proper.
Given our work situation, our career aspirations, yes.
Okay.
So there's a hard. It depends on how you look at it, but I hear this a lot. I know, George, I know you do too. There is a hard reality when you look at your income, whether it's $300,000 or it's $30,000. And I really had my heart set on this neighborhood. It would be this level of convenience for us. It would provide this many opportunities. I found the same problem here in Nashville when I moved here. It was 3, sometimes 4 times more expensive than where I moved from. And I wanted to be in this community, and ultimately it couldn't happen. I either was going to have to concede on 15 more minutes or 20 more minutes or 30 more minutes in a commute, or I was going to have to do what you're doing, which is really fret over spending more money than I'm comfortable spending, way over leveraging myself for a house I don't even like. It's not even, it has no, I don't like it. I don't like living in it. And so anytime, whether you're whether you're single or in a marriage relationship, George, when you box yourself in to a decision, that's when you end up making a decision that's not a wise one. When you say it's either this or it's either that, you end up going, okay, we have to, and you don't, right?
Well, then the next call becomes, hey, we have $800,000 in mortgage debt, and we are scared out of our minds.
Or we both work in finance, one of the most volatile industries, and I just read some news today that some of the big financial players are scheduling some layoffs this year, right? It's a messy time.
Yeah.
One thing I always tell folks is trust your gut. And if you're about to take on a mortgage that feels gnarly, trust your gut.
Listen to that.
And I'll also say this. I grew up with not a lot. My wife grew up with not a lot. We didn't have a lot. And Dave has been helpful coach, right? It's pretty cool that I get to have him as a personal coach on some of this stuff. But there is a scale to this, right? And so if you are making $300,000 and you've never made that kind of money before, a $500,000 loan feels incredible. And you got to rest assured that if your job is secure and your income is safe and you're not making dumb purchases, that you are going to be okay.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just, you got to balance it's a ratios question.
So let's look at the reality for a second, Linda. I did some math for you on our mortgage calculator. If you put down $230,000 on $1 million home, you are looking at a $6,400 a month payment.
Not including escrow and
not
insurance.
Including all the closing costs and all the things that come along with home ownership, the joys, especially in a crappy $1 million place. So you have to fix everything constantly because it's New York City, and so
you've got community taxes and city taxes.
You're looking at 40% of your take-home pay being eaten up by this mortgage, while you're trying to do the other baby steps, while you're trying to live your life, be a homeowner, fix all the things. And so here's what this new picture looks like. You would have to put down $550,000 to have that mortgage payment be reasonable and give you financial peace. And you go, $550,000, but let me remind you, you make $300,000, and you just told me you can save at least $100,000 a year. So what this now looks like is, man, 3 years from now, we're going to have a home that we love. We're not going to be rushed into it. It's going to give us financial peace. We can afford the payment easily. I'm breathing easier just thinking about it. So that's the picture. And you live in New York City, which means you got to buy yourself a lot more patience than if you live in a small town in Iowa.
Right. And George, you're a good picture of this for folks because you worked at a fancy place, you got a big fancy job, yet you and your wife said, we're going to start with a condo and we're going to pay this thing off. And when we get there and we can breathe, then we're going to say, okay, what is the fantasy? What's the myth? What's the thing, right? What's the dream?
Yeah.
Walk people through your psychology there, because that's hard. It's hard.
Well, the problem is if you go to the bank and say, hey, we'd love to buy a house. How much money will you give me? They will give you an astronomical number, and you go, oh, my gosh, we're rich. The bank is willing to loan us $800,000.
They're our friends.
They're our friends. Look how nice they are. No. I want you to look at your budget, your bank account.
But
That should be your advisor.
How did you rein it in inside.
We
just looking in the mirror.
pre-decided. It's amazing when you pre-decide. We pre-decided, hey, we're going to put down as much as possible, and we're going to pay it as quickly as possible. And we want to do it in less than 4 years, because anything more than that feels like too long of a journey for us to pay this thing off with a little bit of intensity. So that's what we did. And so we let that dictate the house that we bought.
It's kind of like deciding before you go out to your friend's house, like, I will only have one drink, or I will not look at the dessert table, or you got to pre-plan. If I wait till I look at the dessert table, all she wrote. You know what I mean?
Nailed it.
Hey, appreciate you, George Camel. Thanks for the guys in the booth, Kelly, Ben, James, even Zach. Hey, hope you're having a great day. Be kind to one another. We'll see you soon on The Ramsey Show.
Have a friend or family member that needs a daily dose of Ramsey advice in their life? Let them know about the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast. It's a quick hit of advice about life and money in under 10 minutes. Check out the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions in Nashville, Tennessee, this is The Ramsey Show, where we talk about your money and your life and your mental health, your relationships, anything and everything. Give us a shout, 888-825-5225. I'm John Deloney, joined here by George Camel. We're taking your calls on money, on life, relationships. We're here to walk alongside you to get through the messiness of this madness that's going on out there. We're here with you. Give us a shout. 888-825-5225. Let's go to Jay in Phoenix. Hey, Jay, what's going on?
Hey, guys. I just had a quick question for you. My wife and I, we make about $120,000 a year. We currently have 2 auto loans. My wife's working at home indefinite. So my question is should I trade 2 auto loans in for 1 new auto loan just to kind of consolidate and reduce the payments per month?
Well, I don't like the idea of just moving the debt around. Is there any chance that she might need a vehicle in some kind of emergency situation?
Possibly just getting her a new vehicle just to have, and then just buying myself one cash.
Or can you go a season with only one car and sell one and pay off your debt?
For now, possibly. The only reason that I'm even thinking about this is because we've been trying to work on buying a home, our first home. And we're just basically waiting for that. And we know the markets for the used value for the used vehicles is way up, and of course the home values are way up as well. So we're just trying to see what's best right now.
Yeah, you're wanting to do a few things at once here. What are these cars worth, and what do you owe on them?
I owe about $40,043, and I have a Nissan I only owe $17,000 on, and it's worth $23,024 right now.
The word "only" is always a little trigger for me. I only owe $17,000.
Yeah,
dude, this is $17,000 you owe.
How much do you make? What's your annual salary?
Sorry, you're breaking up on us, Jay. Speak
directly. That was a very
strategic
breakup there on the phone.
Income alone is $85,000. Combined to $120,000.
Combined $120,000, and these cars are worth close to $60,000?
Correct. Altogether, yes.
Dude, that's a lot. I mean, that's our parameters, 50%, no more than 50% of your income tied up in things with motors in it, and you guys are broke.
What's your other debt portfolio? How much do you owe?
Currently, not too much. We've been paying down a lot of other credit and things like that. We only owe about $4,000 in overall debt.
Okay.
Outside of those cars.
Right.
Well, let me tell you. Here's what I would do if I was in your shoes, and if I was talking to my friend. I would tell you to sell both vehicles and buy 2 very reasonable cars, if you even need 2 reasonable cars. Worst case, you sell both vehicles and get 1 decent one until you can cash flow, get out of debt, and get your wife a car as well.
And we're going to be the fun ruiners here, but brother, you're not in a position to buy a house yet in Phoenix. You got to get.
No, I 100% agree.
All right, good. I want you to get out of debt. I want you to have an emergency fund so you can breathe when, not if, something happens on your new house, and then you're going to save up 10 to 20% of a down payment before you get about buying anything, okay? So we're talking a couple of years here, and it's going to be frustrating and annoying and all that stuff, but hang in there, okay? You're playing a long, long game on this one.
If you sell these cars, and you said they're worth about $60K, and let's say you buy a $10,000 car, right? That still leaves you with a nice chunk of change, doesn't it?
You got to pay this thing off?
Yeah.
Once you pay off the loans, what's left if you sold them?
Not really, just a few credit cards, and that's about it.
Man, that feels good.
I'd be done. I'd set them up today, Jay, to sell them.
I would be going all over town, seeing who'd give me what, going on Vroom and Carvana and all those different websites and see who's going to give me the most bang for my buck, private on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist. Man, I want these things out of my life. This is just too much car for you right now.
Just get a sandwich board and stand out in front of a Walmart and say, no, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
But right now, these cars own you. You don't own them. And so you'll get to that spot. I want you to. But once you get that emergency fund, you start saving up for that house, man, you're in that house. You got a reasonable payment on it. Now we can talk about upgrading the cars.
There you go. Let's go to Max in Orlando. What's up, brother Max? How we doing?
Hey, man. How you doing?
Good. What's up? How can we help?
Hey, so at 27 years old, I'm officially debt-free.
Congrats, man.
Appreciate it. I just got medically discharged from the Army after 10 years. And
thanks for your service, brother.
Appreciate it. So they gave me a severance check of $75,000.
Okay.
I paid off all our debt. I got $55K left in the bank. The VA gives me $4K monthly for my disabilities, which I can still work. They also paid off my student loans for being total and permanent. So I basically got my bachelor's paid for free.
Very cool.
And we already own a home. We were renting it out. We get about $500 cash flow from it monthly in North Carolina. I was just wondering so we moved from North Carolina down to Florida. So the only bills I have is probably like $1,000 a month, car payment, car insurance, and phone bills.
Okay.
And we're living rent free right now. My mother, she helps out with a lot of us. She has no issue with it. So I was wondering, what's the next step? What I do with this $55,000? I never really had a lump sum of money before.
Yeah. What's the nature of your disability, brother?
I had like 4 or 5 surgeries from jumps. I did.
Okay. Man, thanks for leaving it out there for us, man. Grateful for you.
I appreciate it. I was just wondering, so money's not an issue for me right now. I can still work and everything. Yeah. So I was just wondering, we want to buy a second home in Florida, so we're just trying to figure out what's the next move. I know the first move is to get a job, obviously, but what do I do with this $55,000 that's in the bank?
Yeah, it's a great question. You flew by something earlier. You said you've got a car payment?
Yeah, it's a lease. It's a 3-year lease.
Well, you told me you were debt-free, and I was really excited for you. And now I got to backtrack and go, bro, what do you think a lease is?
I really don't consider it because I have kids, so I think of a car as like a reliable transportation. I always have a new car.
Okay, here's a good way to look at debt. If I stop paying, what happens? If someone comes after me, it's called debt. You owe anyone anything for any reason, it is debt.
And brother, I got 2 little kids, and I got an 06 and a 10, and we're going to ride them till the wheels fall off, man. And I love my kids more than life itself, and they are just fine in those cars. I don't look cool. Thankfully, I'm already married, and my wife wears like really dark sunglasses, and so she doesn't have to. I'm good. I'm not gonna. No one's gonna come after me and tell me how cool I am. But dude, it's a debt and it's a chain on you. Okay, and we're about solving for freedom here. That's what me and George are doing. And then tell me real quick about this house. Why are y'all keeping a house that you don't live in?
Because it's a good cash flow. We pay monthly $1,300 on it, and we rent it out for $2,000 in North Carolina.
Okay, so you cash flow $500 a month?
Yes.
So $6,000 a month is some game-changing investment for you?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, you can do better than that. You can do better than that just investing in retirement, IRAs. This is not great to be a long-distance landlord. If I'm you and you want to set yourself up for freedom, I would sell that thing. I'd stop being a long-distance landlord. I'd pack all the money I could, and I'd set myself and my family up for freedom in our next house. That's what I would do personally.
Yeah, I'm going to pay off the car. I'm going to get out of this lease. I'm going to buy the lease out or turn the car back in. I'm going going to sell this house. I'm going to take all that money plus the $55,000. I'm going to have an emergency fund of 3 to 6 weeks, and then I'm going to buy me my own place for me and my family there in Florida.
That simplicity is making me breathe easier, John.
Already.
I don't know about you.
Hey, thanks for your service, Brother Max.
Absolutely.
We'll be right back.
If you're considering a career in technology, I recommend Bethel Tech, and I'm not alone. Here's what Brendan said. Before Bethel Tech, I was driving Uber. Within 4 months of graduating, I got a job paying $60,000. About 2 years after that, I got a remote job that pays me $130,000, all thanks to what I learned at Bethel Tech. You could be next. Get started today at betheltech.net and get $1,000 to $2,500 off of your tuition. Again, it's betheltech.net/Ken Coleman.
$888-825-5225. This is the Ramsey Show. Let's go out to Kara in H-Town, Houston, Texas. What's up, Kara?
Hi. Thanks for taking my call, guys.
Thank you for calling. What's up?
Well, I feel like my family's in a position that maybe some other Americans are in. My husband is a nurse, and I was really hoping that his exemption for the vaccine would be approved, and we just found out last night that it was denied. And kind of the CMS vaccine mandate is everywhere. And so at the end of the month, his income will be no more in our house at this point. And I'm just thinking, are we looking at a career change? Do you guys have any advice? I mean, we are debt-free, but our house, we have an emergency fund. We've got 3 kids who aren't even school age yet. So, there's a lot of emotion and thoughts that are going on through our house right now. So we've got a lot to think about.
Yeah, so number one, you're right. I know lots of people are going through all sorts of job transitions and are staring this in the face. And so thanks for being brave and calling and putting it out there for us to walk through. So here's how I make these decisions. This is just the matrix that I use, right, wrong, or indifferent. And I just want to, there is no way to talk about COVID and vaccine mandates and job loss without people losing their minds. And so that's fine. Here's how I make these type of decisions. I always want to back out of these things and take the air or the emotion and set it to the side for a second. Those feelings are real. The emotion is real. But what are the facts in front of me? The facts are this. I have a principle or a value. It could be about mandates. It could be about being asked to steal at work. It could be about anything. I have a set of core principles, and my employer is violating those principles. So much so that I am opting to have no job. That's my stance. That's my platform. That's where I'm sitting. And come what may, I will have to work 50 part-time jobs. I'm going to have to go to another hospital. I'm going to have to move. I'm going to have to do other things, but my values are that important. And almost always, unless there's just something way out, I've got high respect for anybody who says, I've got a set of values that I can't move forward on this, right? So I want to take the emotion aside and look at the reality. The reality is you guys have 30 days or a little less than 30 days before you're going to have no income. So let's take out the mandates. Let's take out the frustration, the anger. What are y'all going to do for food and rent and transportation? What are you going to do? And that's when I think career change, is it time to go? I think you put all that stuff after you take care of your 4 walls, right? Are you going to be able to keep your house? You're going to be able to keep your little kids fed. You're going to be able to keep the lights and electricity running. You're going to be able to get to and from the grocery store. That becomes where my initial, how am I going to solve for this? So what's your plan there?
Well, we have taken a look at the budget. I work, I make about twice as much as my husband, and so we are extremely, extremely thankful.
Great.
For that. So when it comes to our four walls, maybe we're only taking we're kind of slimming everything down, and maybe we're only taking between $500 and $1,000 out every month from our emergency fund, and that covers everything. So our four walls, we're good. Nobody's going to go hungry.
Okay.
We can put gas in the car. Our health, we'll be paid. We had big goals.
Yeah. Well,
year.
yeah. And here's the thing, not by your hand, but in your lap. You didn't cause it, but you had a values-based decision, and somebody dropped something in your lap, and they called your bluff, and you said, cool, I'm sticking by our values, whatever they happen to be. And so I don't want you to make a practice of living off the emergency fund, but here we are. And so I think now is when your husband...
It's not our intention.
That's right. Of course it's not. But now your husband's able to say, do I love nursing? Do I want to find a place, whether it's on a college campus or at an elementary school or a travel... do I love this? Is this what I want to be doing? And I just got caught up in a mess that will go away at some point or will reduce at some point or may never change ever, right? Do I love nursing? Do I love helping people? Do I want to go back to school and get some different credentials? I think you're in a position, and it's a fortunate position, to ask that question and then say what comes next. And I'm going to hold my head up high. Anytime I make decisions and I'm angry or I am raged out, I never make good choices. I'm out of this profession. I quit. This is the way. Actually, I love nursing. I hate that this thing is happening here. Where can I find nursing? Where can I find human care? Where can I find connection in other places? And I'll go down that road. And maybe there's none. I don't know enough. I haven't kept close enough tabs on it. There may not be any places left to go. And it may be that I've got to go do something else. But I think you can enter a season of 1 month, 2 months, and figure it out. I'll give you a copy. Hang on the line. We'll give you a copy of our friend Ken Coleman's book, From Paycheck to Purpose. And it's just got some good exercises to walk through it and say, what do I actually want to be doing and what do I actually love? Is your family united in this decision?
My husband and I, we are 100% on board. I can't say the same for, some extended families. We've gotten kind of a mixed bag.
They don't get a vote.
Over the last day.
Yeah, they don't get a vote.
But my husband and I, we made this decision a long time ago when, we were like, what do we need to put on this exemption that fits with our family and what we believe and what we have already set forth is how we believe and feel and all that. Natural immunity is like not a thing in the CMS world. They don't really care that we have that. But yes, we are fully united. We're supportive of, that decision and whatever it means for us in the coming days. I just feel like it's, I know my husband's an extremely hard worker, and he has never been in the situation where his job is being taken from him, and this is a decision that we made, just like if you were a poor performer, that's a decision you make.
Right, right. Well, there's something about knowing something's coming, and then it shows up. Right? And we are often caught off guard by how much it hurts, how scary it is. We knew it was coming. We knew this was coming down the road, and then it's here. I hear this a lot when I used to sit with folks who had long-term illnesses. We know that granddad's going to pass away, and if you did, but when he actually passes away, it's something else, right? And people are caught off guard by that. So don't be caught off guard by how off guard you're going to feel, right? I want you and your husband to have a regular practice. If I were you, I'd make this a daily practice. 3 minutes. Go. I'm scared. I'm kind of freaked out. I'm pissed off. I'm angry about all this. They're taking a job away that I love. And then you go. And then you get your 3 minutes. And then, all right, what are we going to be about solving this today? How are we going to make sure that we've got purpose, we've got a paycheck? What do you want to actually do with your life? How are you going to get back on the horse? And let's go down that road. I'm not going to let anger and emotion and rage take me over because I know I'm going to make less wise decisions when that happens.
Yeah, and the only thing I'll add to that, John, is he's got to be about the business of getting to work. Clearly, he's a hard worker, and he might have to swallow his pride, have some humility, and go do jobs that he would never otherwise do right now. Yeah. But planning on using the emergency fund, like we talked about earlier, is a bad plan. I want you to use it because you absolutely need it. So if you can avoid touching that, that would be my goal personally, is to go, well, he can work. He can make an extra $500 to $1,000 a month to help us avoid dipping into the emergency fund while he looks for something new, while he figures out what he really wants to do. So that would be my personal goal, just adding on top of that the financial part.
Yeah, and again, I feel like I'm a broken record sometimes. Nobody, whether we're talking about, talking about work, we're talking about relationship issues, we're talking about investing, nobody, it's a neurological thing. Nobody makes good decisions when they're in fight or flight, when they are consciously stewing, they are living in this rage and they're angry. I get it's real, I get it's visceral, I get it hurts. And then you got to set that down and say, okay, what do I got to do right now?
Focus on the future, next steps.
That's right. I'm going to choose optimism in a mess. I'm going to choose it because why not, right? Because why not? We'll be right back on The Ramsey Show. The Ramsey Show. Half of Americans over 65 will need long-term care, and the average cost of that care is $138,000. You've got to plan for the long-term care needs now. But I talk to people all the time whose quote-unquote plan is to let Medicare pay for it. I got news for you people. Medicare won't pay for everything. That's why I recommend long-term care insurance for people age 60 and over. It helps pay for nursing home care, assisted living, and in-home care costs like medical equipment, help getting dressed and eating, and home modifications so you can get around safely in your house. That way you get to keep your independence and your savings. Long-term care insurance protects your family too. Your spouse and kids won't have to bear the financial and emotional burden of caring for you. And since you're not using all your savings on long-term care, you'll be able to enjoy your retirement years with your family and leave a legacy that provides for them after you're gone. Our network of endorsed local providers will help you understand your long-term care insurance options and find the right policy for you. That's why they're Ramsey trusted, because they'll put you first no matter what. So if you're over 60, it's time to connect with a trusted ELP and get your free long-term care insurance quotes. Visit RamseySolutions.com/long-term care to get started. That's RamseySolutions.com/long-term care. Let's go out to Ian in Amarillo, Texas, the 806. What's up, Ian?
Hey, what's going on, guys? How y'all doing today?
Excellent. How are you?
I am doing awesome.
Great. What's up?
So right now, I'm 31 years old. I'm married. My wife is pregnant, so she's not currently working.
Congratulations.
My income, thank you. My income is about $110,000 a year, and we are about $112,000 in debt.
What do you do?
I work in the nuclear industry.
Oh yeah, I know that over there. Is it Pantech over there?
Yes, it is.
Very cool, man.
Yes,
and what's
sir.
the debt?
Well, it's like $3,500 in credit card debt. We only have one credit card. I took like a $8,000 loan out on a ring. I owe $12,000 on a motorcycle. I owe $65,000 on a truck, which is majority of our debt. And her student loans were about $22,000.
Okay. What's your question?
So I have about $45,000 from my former employer in a 401k. And I'm wondering if I should just pull that out, take the hit on it, take the taxes and all that, and pay off a chunk of that debt, or if I should just roll it into a current 401k or like another retirement plan. I don't really know what to do with that money. I feel like pulling it out and paying off some debt would work, but I just don't know what the taxes and fees would be.
Ian, you want me to talk to you like I talked to my friend, or do you want me to make you feel good? You get to choose today.
I want to know the honest truth, what I should do.
Ian, you are living the West Texas dream. You got a great job. You got the big truck, the big ring. You are West Texas through and through. Let him have it, George.
Okay, man. And you know me, John. I'm just not a car guy. But here's the thing, man. You are making a terrible decision by pulling this money out of this 401k.
Don't do it.
You're going to be taxed at your tax rate plus the 10% penalty. You know all this. And you're saying I'd rather lose 35% of this money that could make me a millionaire so I can keep my big truck. That's what I heard. Keep my big truck.
Ian.
Dude.
Sell the truck today.
Sell the motorcycle.
Today. Sell the motorcycle.
You're going to be a dad, dude. You don't want to be riding on that death trap right now.
Oh, man.
I know. It hurts.
This truck.
You say, listen, I drove out to Snyder a few years ago and bought a F-150 that was made before the American Revolution. Not really, but it was old.
Can I hit you with another fact,
And
my
it
man?
wasn't cool, and it got me where I needed to go, man.
Dude, 70% of your income is tied up in things with motors in it that are going down in value every day you wake up. Does that not make you angry? I'm angry. You riled me up.
It does. Here's a little spot that I'm stuck in, though. With the truck is I had a series of stupid decisions that led me to being about $20,000 upside down in this truck. So the truck is only worth about $40,000.
Okay.
But I owe like $65,000.
So let's take a $65,000 mistake, okay? And let's say you go sell it and you get $40,000. How much do you still owe?
I owe 20.
Okay.
25.
25. There you go. Math. I'm glad you're working in the nuclear industry.
It's not my strong suit, man.
Go. So you got 25, and then you go take a loan out for a $2,000 2000 Corolla to get you to and from. And I know that car exists because I sold it right before I moved to Nashville in your area, so it's out there somewhere. And it's going to get you to and from. Now you don't owe $65,000. You owe $26,000.
Okay.
And you've cut your debt load in half just there. And then you sell that your big boy bicycle, you sell that, and now you got another chunk of money to knock that thing off. Do you see what we're doing here?
Yeah, I see what we're doing.
And there is not but anybody else in this building that knows how bad this hurts than me. I get it, what I'm asking you to do. But here's what I'm asking you to think about the legacy of this little kid that's about to be born. Think about the insecurity your wife feels knowing that 70% of your household debt is depreciating every day. It's becoming less and less value. What if you told your wife, hey, I've had you married a guy that was like, do you have boots that have square toes on them probably?
Yeah, I do.
Of course you do. So I married a guy with cool jeans and square-toed boots and the big truck, and I'm going to change. I'm going to be the husband that's going to make sure we are financially secure and safe. I'm going to drive goofy cars, but you watch what happens to our net worth, to our bank account. And if she looks at you and says, you will not sell that truck, I married a man with a big, then you probably got yourself a problem. She's not going to do that.
She's not like that, no.
So what would she do if you came at her with that? Hey, I've set us up in a hole, and it's time for me to change. What would she say? What would she do?
She's awesome. She really does support me in any decision that we have to make. We had really, really big conversations about money and stuff like that before we even got married. But it was just, like I said, it was a series of stupid decisions that I made that led me to a $65,000 truck that's worth $40,000. So I'm pretty sure she would support it.
All right. So
as long as it's something that we're safe in, like right now,
of course,
ice and snow on the ground, and it's been snowing all day. So
hey, dude, the Corolla can rock some snow. When's that baby due?
August.
All right. So me and George, our gift to you is we're going to give you a year subscription to Ramsey Plus. as a baby warming gift. But baby warming gift, is
that a thing?
That sounded weird. I don't know that your baby needs to be any warmer, but hey, it's our gift. But listen, you got to promise 2 things: that you will go through every one of the FPU lessons, the Financial Peace University lessons in that series with your wife. You'll watch them together. And you'll talk to her and say, how does this make us feel? How do you feel about this? What would this be like for our family? And then the second thing is, by the end of tomorrow, you've got to put one of those things up for sale. You got to have it posted somewhere. Is that cool?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Are you in?
I'm in.
We turned him around.
My man, dude. My
It took
man.
a West Texan to another.
Life right now. But,
hey,
yeah, no,
you're going to be
in.
the only dude rolling up to a nuclear factory on a bicycle or driving a Camry, right? And you're going to be absolutely – you make too good of a salary to be as broke as you are, my brother. You just do.
I know.
You know what I mean? You make 6 figures in a part of the country that the cost of living is pretty low. I want you to – you work so hard, man. You're a smart guy. Hey, and by the way, quit beating yourself up. We've all done stupid stuff with money.
Yeah, we love
every single
you, man.
one of us.
You sound like a cool guy. I want to get a drink with you sometime.
This guy's awesome, man.
Come to Nashville when you're debt free. Let's hear about it. But remember, there's no shortcuts when it comes to getting out of debt. And robbing your 401k, that's a shortcut. Do the hard work. You're not scared of it. You got this.
And sell the motorcycle.
Sell the big bike.
And the big truck. We'll be right back. This is the Ramsey Show, taking your calls about life and money. 888-825-5225. I'm John Deloney, joined by George Camel, and we are here for you. 888-825-5225. Let's go out to Ross in Springfield, Missouri. Hey, Ross, what's going on?
Hey, Dr. John and George. Thank you all for taking my call.
You got it, my brother. What's up?
Me and my wife are currently on baby steps 4, 5, and 6, and we'll hopefully have our house paid off by the end of next year.
Wow. Let's go, Ross. Congrats.
Oh, thank you all. Appreciate it.
Very cool.
I know y'all say to buy a house with payments less than 25% of your income, but once you have your house paid off, what value of house should I have past that? Should I base it on a certain times our income or a certain percentage of our net worth? Is there a rule of thumb?
You're saying if you're going to purchase a new home after that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Would this be?
My house should.
Are you looking for like an investment property, or are you saying you want to upgrade the house and sell your primary?
Just for primary house.
Okay. I mean, I would stick to those parameters. My goal for you would be to pay cash for any upgrade in house. And no, there's no parameter if you're paying cash. You can buy a $2 million house if you pay cash. That's great. It's a great part of your net worth, your retirement plan, because that home will appreciate and you own every single cent of it. Now, I won't be mad at you if you go get another mortgage and do the same thing and roll that into the next one. But I think it's a cool goal to have personally to be able to pay cash for that next one.
Can I ask you, Ross? You guys, it sounds like y'all have worked. Y'all have just busted it to get this thing paid off. What would motivate you to go get a mortgage again?
Well, I wouldn't want to get a mortgage again. I just wanted to know, if I should have a more expensive house for our income, or, if our net worth gets higher, if I should have a house be a certain percentage of my net worth.
Is there a house you have in your mind that you want to go get that you think might be too expensive? What's the root of this call?
Not in particular. Just out of, I say people with spending a lot of money on houses, and I hear people, that call in that spend a lot on houses, what I would consider comparative income. And I just want to know, if y'all had a certain ratio that you went by.
I'll tell you this. In our millionaire study that we did, what we found is that most of the millionaires, their net worth looked like this. About 2/3 of that was in investments. It was their 401k, it was their IRA, over a lot of time and consistency. And about 1/3 was their home value. So that's a parameter. That's not to say that if yours is different, that you're doing anything wrong. My goal is for you to be a baby steps millionaire, and whatever that looks like is awesome.
And let me. I'm not poking at you. I'm just. We're friends now, right, Ross?
You bet.
We're friends. Our friend Rachel Cruz says, "Comparison is the thief of joy." And I know this is folklore at this point, but I just lost his name. Berkshire Hathaway.
Warren?
Yeah, Warren. Good grief, Deloney.
Our friend Warren Buffett.
Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
Still lives in the same house. And so what I want you to do when you're considering where you're going to live, say, do we love our house and do we like it and it's paid off?
It can be enough.
I am good. Yeah, it's that magic word. My friend Dr. Mark Phillips taught me about the magic word of enough. When's enough? And man, just because somebody makes the same amount of money, or really it's the other way around, you make as much as they do, and you think, well, I guess I should get that car, and I guess I should, me and George, neither of us are car guys, and people hassle us around here for the cars that we drive. I guess where I want to go, I'm not a car guy, I like it, right? And would it be cool to have something else? Yeah, it'd be awesome, man. I like driving fancy things. But right now, I'm good. He's good.
Contentment.
So I want you to be content with where you're at. Don't feel like you need to get another house just because you make X dollars.
What's this house going to be worth once you pay it off, Ross? Just your guess.
I'd say probably 1.25.
Wow.
125,000. No, 125,000. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I was like $1.25 million, dude.
That up, boy, Ross.
Okay. So 125,000 in house. What do you have in investments?
Right now, probably 75.
75,000 in investments. How old are you?
34.
34. Okay, dude, you got your whole life ahead of you.
Yeah, man, you're just a youngster. How much do you make?
Me and wife combined probably 75 a year.
Awesome.
Brother, you have a paid off house. Do you like the house? Does it meet your needs?
Yeah, we bought it when we got married. It was a new house, and I guess if she's content with it, I am. I just wanted to make sure I didn't need to upgrade, as investments grow, since I can start putting more into investments now.
If you find a place to live and you owe nobody anything on it, and you've got joy, you have won. You got people in your life you love, which you clearly do. You have won. You've won. Good for you, my brother.
You start to enjoy those stains and a little crack in the drywall.
Because it's my crack.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
right.
my stains, right?
Can't come at me. I own it.
Exactly.
Good stuff.
Let's go to Corey out in Salt Lake City. What's up, Corey?
Hi, how are you guys? Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. What's up?
So I have a question about, it has to do with a job offer and my side business. So about a year ago, I started a side business where I manufacture cable assemblies in my garage. And over the past year, it has grown quite a bit, and we ended up making quite a bit of money last year.
I didn't hear what you were making. What were you making?
You say cable assembly?
Yeah, cable assemblies. Yeah, custom cable assemblies.
Okay.
For the electronics industry, and then I have a day job as well, and I made altogether about $120,000 last year between my day job and my side business.
Great.
But I just recently got a job offer from a company here in Utah that is in the same field. They don't do the same thing, but they manufacture a device that tests cables, and one of the stipulations for me to work there is to either sell my side business or transfer it into somebody else's name so that there isn't a conflict of interest.
Gotcha.
Between the companies. And so I just wanted to talk that through with somebody and find out.
So we have a very similar thing here. So if I didn't, but if I had written books before I joined this team, part of me joining this team was transferring ownership of my intellectual property to this team. That's just part of it.
Okay.
Because all of a sudden I can try to sell books out of my car. If Dave says, hey, this is a great book, and he gets behind it, it's going to sell way more copies, right? So there's a give and take there. This sounds like a very similar situation. And what I would say is like we talked about this on an earlier call, don't over-emotionalize it. This is just a set of facts. Do you want this job for this amount of money? And here's the stipulation. You got to wear pants, you got to tuck your shirt in, and you got to sell your side business, right? And if you think of it that way, then you can say, okay, am I vested in this side business? What can I sell it for? Is it worth the money I'm going to be making? Is it more stable long-term, right? Or do I want to be an entrepreneur and start this up? I think those are all simple questions. I wouldn't over dramatize the job stipulations.
What's the job offer? How much are they offering?
So they're offering it's $75,000 a year, but they're within the company. There's there's kind of a ladder to move up. It's within a new department that could become a bit bigger, and then I could move up within that department.
Okay.
Do you like your side hustle?
To do that. I do. I like it. And when you spoke earlier about emotions, when I think about it, it actually makes me quite emotional. Because,
let that speak to you then. Okay? If I say, hey, don't get emotional about this, and you go, all right, cool, you're right. I just need to sell this. That's a big signal. If I say, hey, don't get emotional about this, and you say, no, this is my baby, right? Now we're back to the old Solomon proverb. Like, now we're back to, I'm not cutting that baby in half, right? Then I just want it to live. So that may be a big signal. If you're not going to see a big financial increase, you're going to give up a dream, something you've been building, hang on to it, man. Hang on to it. You're clearly good at what you do. Somebody else will have a job offer for you if that's what you want to do. I'd like to thank the guys in the booth, especially James Childs, a good friend, George Camel. We will be back right here on The Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's Kelly, associate producer and phone screener for The Ramsey Show. If you would like to do your debt-free scream live on the show, make sure you visit theramseyshow.com and register. We would love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions from Nashville, Tennessee, this is The Ramsey Show, where we talk about your money, your life, your relationships, your mental health, anything and everything. I'm John Deloney, joined here by George Camel, and we are taking your calls live at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Whatever's going on in your life, give us a shout. Kelly's sitting by the phone waiting for you. Let's go to Andrew in Flint, Michigan. Hey, Andrew, what's going on?
Hey, you guys, how you doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Hey, quick question for you guys. I was recently offered Alaska.
You just cut out. You said you were offered a job in Alaska?
Yeah. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah. Yes. What are you doing in Alaska?
Perfect. So I got offered a entry-level sales position, and I'm currently in mid-level supply chain. Now, the sales position has a base plus a guaranteed commission, which, adjusting for the cost of living, gives me a $3,000 raise for the first 2 years. The thing is, this would be kind of a temporary move, just an adventure for my wife and I. And I'm kind of wondering if it's a bad career move to go to an entry-level sales job from a mid-level supply chain. And then number two, if we do take the job, do we rent or sell our house?
So you said a couple of things here. Let's just kind of separate them out. Number one, this is a $3,000 move. You can go work at Lyft for a month and make that. So let's move the money off to the side. This is not a financial move.
Yep, no, for sure.
multiple times in my career, when I was moving to a bigger company, a bigger university is what I did, I would take a decrease in title, sometimes even a decrease in money, for a different opportunity or for the opportunity for something bigger, or I was at a bigger, fancier school. And you see what I'm saying? So there was a strategy. It was a strategic move to take what looked on paper like a demotion, but it really wasn't long term, right? And so that doesn't sound like what you're doing here. It sounds like what you're doing here is you and your wife just want to go have an adventure. And how old are you guys?
26.
Do you got little ones?
Nope. So that was kind of our motivation. So sales was something that I wanted to get into up front, but the idea of going to Alaska was kind of an adventure before we had kids, and wanted to be back in Michigan in about 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And this was kind of an opportunity to do that. It was kind of a step backwards, and is it a dumb decision?
I mean,
I don't think it's a matter of is it dumb. Yeah. I'm just wondering, do you want to be, there's like 17 questions here. Do you want to be in sales long term?
I believe so, yes.
You believe so. Versus supply chain. You're like, I'm done with supply chain world. It was too crazy this year. I'm out.
Yeah, it's been a little rough with COVID.
Sure. But there's a lot going on as far as it's a temporary move. So you're saying I'm going to come back. And so are you going to tell your employer, hey, I'm going to be here for 2 years and peace out?
Yes, the hope was to transfer within the company back. So they have locations all over the place.
Okay.
But again, that's speculative, and that's 2 years away. I mean, I think you got to look at this like we want to go for an adventure. This is a funded adventure, is what it is, and it could turn out to be something great. Is that right?
Yep.
I mean, I guess what are you going to be selling?
This would be warehousing solutions.
Warehousing.
So it's still in your world with supply chain?
Yep.
Okay. I mean, if you're driven, you want to move up in this world and you want to stay in sales for a while, or you come back and you go back to supply chain, it sounds like those are all on the table. So this doesn't sound like a fatal decision either way. You go to Alaska and you hate it and you go, all right, we're going to go back to Michigan. Now, if you're going to be there for a short period of time, I don't know that I'd bother with the hassle of selling and then trying to buy something new, unless real estate in Michigan is easy to get right now and you can get a sweet place. I don't know what it's like in Flint.
It's kind of crazy right now.
Okay. If you sold your house, could you do real well?
I could. The problem with selling, I mean, I would make probably 60 to 70 grand on it.
Okay. What would you do if you kept it?
If I kept it, I would rent it out. So the mortgage is less than $600 a month, not including tax and insurance.
Okay.
We only owe 30 grand on it, so we would pay it off while we were over there.
Okay. Do you have somebody that could manage it for you? Because being a landlord out of Alaska may be a challenge.
Yeah, that was I would have to look into a management company.
Okay.
I do have friends that said they would help out, but I really don't want to depend on anybody.
Get a management company.
Getting your buddy to wake up at 2 a.m. to go fix the water heater is bad. You're going to lose a friend over that.
Especially when you're in Alaska dodging bears. And not really. I love Alaska. It's awesome. I mean, I can't. Here's the thing. We live in a culture now where couples are dropping out of the workforce to get in an RV and do nothing. And, like, I just want money to fall from the sky and deposit into my account. I shouldn't have to work, whatever. You've got a job lined up. It's not going to further you financially unless you just crush the sales, right? And I hear in your voice, you don't think you're going to get out there and dominate it, right?
Yeah, it's a new business, so my concern is, one, it's a cultural difference. It's a whole lot different than automotive. And then, two, I'm new to sales, so that was I think I could do well. I just don't think it'll be a high volume, high dollar sales in terms of commission.
Do you have a contract of some sort that you're not going to get out there? You're going to quit a good job that you have right now. You're going to get out there and get let go in 3 months?
No, so they do not from a letting go standpoint. They want a 1 year commitment because they're giving me $10,000 to move or towards moving expenses.
Yep.
So I figured I was kind of safe for that first year at least. But no, there's nothing preventing them from letting me go.
Okay.
And your wife's on board 100%?
Yep, she is. She's kind of more for it than I am because I'm a little worried about career trajectory at this point.
So I'd say, hey, you're 26. Are you a hard worker?
Yes.
You're good at what you do?
Yep.
You're not afraid of change?
I'm terrified of change.
So yeah, don't actually. You know what I think you should do? If you want to not be terrified of change, you should quit your job and move to Alaska.
The furthest point.
Yes, this is exposure therapy at its finest. Here's the thing: you're 26. If you go out there and make and this was a terrible move. You hate sales. It's I don't know if you've heard, but it's cold. You don't want to get eaten on the way to the market. Whatever's going to go up. You say this was a terrible decision. You're 26, you come back and you're 27, you're going to work hard, you're going to figure it out. I don't have any concern about that. If your wife's on board and y'all are young, you got no kids, you got no responsibilities holding you down other than this perceived career trajectory, whatever the heck that means. Here's the thing. I work on a radio show, brother, and my career trajectory was working in colleges. So who knows where life's going to take you.
Your 20s are the time to figure this out.
Yeah, I say go for it,
Andrew, do you have any debt?
Just the mortgage, $30,000.
Okay. Dude, you're in a good spot.
Call from Alaska.
Oh, that'll be fun.
There's Oates Military Academy there, too, if you're a Bill and Ted's fan. But hey, enjoy Alaska, my brother. It's going to be a fun ride. Talk to you soon.
Chaos. That's what it can feel like when your business is growing so fast you've outgrown your financial and accounting software. The faster you grow, the more likely you are to lose control of the numbers. And here's the reality. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. That's why we use NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. Over 28,000 companies use NetSuite by Oracle, including Ramsey Solutions, because NetSuite gives us a single view of everything we need to make daily decisions. Whether you're making a few million to hundreds of millions a year, NetSuite gives you the visibility and control of the things you need to grow, like your financials, inventory, HR, planning, budgeting, and more, all in one dashboard. Go to netsuite.com/Ramsey right now to get their free white paper. Jumpstart your CFO career.
This is the Ramsey Show, 888-825-5225, taking your calls on marriage, money, life, all of it. 888-825-5225.
This is big time, John. You know what's coming up.
What's big time?
You know what's coming up, don't you?
You got to be more specific.
You've got your Super Bowl, Money and Marriage with Rachel Cruz, coming up February 11th, the live stream. This has become world renowned. People go crazy for this. Our team does an incredible job making it a cool experience for date night. And you talk about this a lot, how people do Valentine's the wrong way a lot. And we're going to go get bloated on a big meal and talk about normal stuff that we normally would talk about, and then go home bloated. Too bloated to have any kind of intimacy. We're tired.
You have different kind of Valentines, but
it's a lot of bloated.
A lot of bloat.
Bloatedness,
a lot
John.
of bloat.
But tell us about what happens during this live stream.
So a couple things. One is I'm trying to find silver linings in the last 24 months, 36 months. And if there's one, it's that I am no longer letting a grocery store or a corner market or a greeting card company tell me how I'm going to better love my wife. I'm opting out of that system. We got a few years where you couldn't go out to dinner, or you could, but whatever. I'm done, right? And so what I'm going to do this year is I'm going to look at my wife, I'm going to look at myself, say, what do we need? What do we actually want to do? And that's where Rachel and we're coming to your house in a live stream event. We're going to be talking about marriage. We're going to be talking about sex. We're going to be talking about money. We're going to be talking about things that we're hearing on our shows, that I'm reading in the literature, that we're hearing all over the country that couples are struggling with. It's going to be hilarious. It's going to be fun. And you don't have to leave your house, right? It's $20. We're going to save you some money. I know times are tough in millions of homes across the country. We're just going to, no more going out just because you have to, or in your case, George, no more bloating.
So much
much
I'm a little
bloating.
guy. It doesn't take much.
That is true. That's 2 pieces of pizza for you, man.
Give me a break.
And we are Stay Puft Marshmallow. But hey, I think it's going to be a great event, man. We're going to have a blast.
And what's cool, a lot of people go, well, February 11th, I'm not sure what my plans are that night. What's really cool is that for that same $20, they have 48 hours of access to the recording. And that is total. So if you can catch it on the 12th, the 13th, that's great.
And here's what's awesome. 2 awesome things. One, if you're a Ramsey Plus member, you get this for free, right? It's $20 otherwise, but if you are a Ramsey Plus member, you get it for free. So just log in and go ahead and register. The other cool thing is this. This is on Friday night. It's on Valentine's Day weekend. Valentine's is actually on the 14th, a couple days later. So you get to go to this thing. It's like a mini retreat in your home that's actually fun. And then you get to practice this stuff for a couple of days leading up to your Super Bowl, right? This isn't really my Super Bowl, but I like what you did.
I don't do sports analogies, John. You know that.
You were close.
But it really is one of my favorite events I get to watch. I used to host some of it, which was a blast, and now I get to watch it from home with my dog, and less judgment from you. Because last time we brought my dog into the studio.
Yeah, this isn't a pet owner.
We should do a pet owners event. That's a good idea. James is going to mark that down to pitch to Dave.
Thing. We absolutely should never do that. Let's go to Julie in Springfield, Illinois. Hey, Julie, what's up?
Hi there. Can you hear me?
Absolutely. What's up?
Hey, so I got married. This is the second marriage. So we got married about 3 months ago, and I say I own my house. I have a mortgage on my house. And my new husband wants to give me some money to put towards that. And, I'm just trying to figure out how to split this up and what we need to do. And I really don't want to refinance because I talked to my bank the other day. I've got a really good rate. I've got a 3.0 rate on a 15-year loan with 12 years left to pay for it. So my banker said I would stick with where you are because I'm paying a little extra every month. So
why do you need to refinance? What was the purpose of that?
Are you trying to get him on the loan? Are you trying to have him buy equity from you?
I don't know if I need to. I don't know what I need to do so that he can be. He said he can give me like a lump sum of money, but what would be the appropriate thing to? How much money would be fair?
You guys aren't business partners. This is not a.
This is your husband.
I know. I just don't want to be like, just give me money, or you know what I mean. I don't care if he gives me money at all.
Okay, here's the thing.
I'm fine.
It's just one giant pool of money. Once you're married, right? You're going to combine accounts.
Yes.
You already are married. Have you combined accounts?
We have not.
Okay. That's step number one.
Yeah. So you have before that you got a pronoun issue, right? And as Dave says, you are all French now. So it's oui. Right? So it's not he's going to give me some of his money for some of my equity. It is we joined forces. And so if he's got a chunk of money, we are putting this down to pay this house off together.
Okay.
And if you love him enough to join with him in marriage, then you would love him enough to say, if I die and we have this house that we own together, you are the sole beneficiary of this place in my will.
Okay.
And that way you can avoid a refinance at this point.
Okay. So and just keep it under my name then?
I don't like that, but I do understand. You know what? There is a way.
You want to add him to the title?
Yeah, there's a way to do that, and I haven't had to do it, so I can't
talk to my banker about that.
Yeah, walk him through it. But say I just got married, I want to add my husband to this. There is a way to do that
without putting him on the loan.
Okay.
You don't need to put him on the loan just so you're both on the hook. It's fine.
Okay.
You're in this thing. So that's what I would do if I was in your shoes. You both have ownership of the home legally, but we're paying off this mortgage together. Do you guys have any debt? Other than the mortgage?
Okay, so that's the other thing I was going to talk to you. No, my car's paid off. His truck is paid for. So, I use a credit card just to get airline points. You know what I mean? So to fly.
Julie, how much money do you make?
I make like $84,000 a year.
You can't afford a seat on an airplane?
Oh, I know.
Julie.
You get free tickets.
You're not winning. I get a free, little
I have, but I pay it off at the end of the month.
sticky hand at
every
Chuck E.
single
Cheese because I
month.
gave him $20. That doesn't mean I'm winning.
It's an automatic payment. I
Okay.
have it set up to automatically pay the balance.
Story for
every
another day. I'm not going to fight you on it. But so you guys
Okay.
don't have any debt?
We don't, but he keeps telling me, Julie, you are in debt. You are in debt because of this house. We've got to pay this mortgage off. And
I like the
always-
spirit.
Yeah, you know what? I feel that same way. I got a mortgage right now. I feel the exact same way. Okay?
Okay.
So
It's a good tax write. I mean, it's a good tax.
No, Julie.
No? Okay.
I really want to be friends, Julie.
Hey, we are friends. We are friends.
You're trading $1 for a quarter and thinking you won. There's a lot of areas.
That's right.
Yeah.
The money you spend in interest, just look at your tax return.
Yes.
The money you spent in interest
You're
versus the tax write-off. You're losing.
And unless you itemize, which very few people are doing now, you don't even get the deduction.
Right.
Okay.
So here's what we're doing. We are going to look at our budget, and we're going to start OG with the baby steps. Y'all don't owe anybody any money, so you're going to go past baby step 1, past baby step 2. Do you have an emergency fund?
He does. So I guess, yes, we
do.
Julie.
3 to 6 months is 3 to 6 months worth of expenses.
Of household expenses, not his expenses, not your expenses.
Y'all's expenses, as we say in Texas.
Our expenses.
That's right. And then you're going to put that in a savings account, a high-yield savings account. You're not going to touch it. It's just going to be there in case one of you gets laid off, the roof caves in, whatever happens. And it's not if, it's when, right? So you're going to put that in an account, and then y'all are both going to breathe, and you're going to smile. And then you're going to look at how much money y'all have in your other cash accounts, and you're going to pay this house off. You're going to pay your house off and get it done with. And then y'all are going to ride off into the sunset together.
I like this
yes,
plan.
We are. I love him.
And you're going to have a paid-for ride into that sunset without having to rely on your credit card points. Boom.
Right.
Julie.
But you're so right. I'm so dumb.
No, you're not. You're not. You're not. You know what you are? You're absolutely normal. And this show is about weird people.
We're just really weird.
It's about doing things different. It's about doing things that are going to put you towards freedom. Not towards temporary happiness, but towards freedom.
That was a fun roller coaster, John.
I like Julie.
We landed. We got there.
Julie.
I want to go again.
Hang on the line, Julie. We're going to give you a copy of Dave's new book, Baby Steps Millionaires, because that's your next step when you cut off your credit cards. Woo! We'll be right back.
If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular, and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com.
This is the Ramsey Show, 888-825-5225, taking your calls on life and money and relationships, 888-825-5225. George, what are you working on over there?
Well, here's the thing, John. A lot of people have been worrying about inflation. incessantly. It's America's biggest problem right now. Inflation's at about 7%, highest it's been in many, many years, and people are feeling the pinch. This is a real thing. If you've been to the gas pump, you've been to the grocery store, you've been to Chipotle, you're like, why is my chicken bowl now $10? I didn't even get the guac, John. I didn't get the guac.
I would have been another $11.
This is insane. And so I've been digging into just kind of helpful ways. I like to call them hacks. You hate the word hacks because they're not hacks. It takes a little bit of work. It takes a little bit of research, know-how, time, effort, energy. So hacks just make me feel like it's easy, even though it's not.
That's a very millennial approach. I accept.
That is where we stand.
I accept.
So I wanted to give the people out there some tips, especially around grocery shopping, because the stats are showing us people are spending, it used to be $292 a month. Now it's $350 a month.
Yeah.
On groceries. And so there's some ways that I've been living this way before it was cool. I was the original hipster when it came to frugality. And so there's a lot of ways people are overspending when it comes to groceries. Eating out is a whole other thing, right, when it comes to that. Meat, really expensive right now. I'm not going to tell people to go eat tofu because we live in a society, John.
Because we don't hate children.
This used to be a real country. I'm not eating that stuff. But here's the thing. One of the biggest ways people overspend is, like we talk about college choice as one of the biggest ways to make college affordable. Grocery store choice. Man, that's a game changer. Some of y'all shopping at Whole Foods or Whole Paycheck, whatever you want to call it. That's a budget buster right now. Maybe we try out Aldi. No, it's not the fanciest store. You got to put the quarter in the cart. It's very old-timey and fun.
You have to put a quarter in the cart?
You have to put a quarter to get the cart, and then you get the quarter back when you put the cart back.
Oh, just in case you're going to rip them off.
It's an efficiency thing. No, it's an efficiency thing. They don't have to have a cart person.
Okay.
You are the cart person.
You are the cart person.
They charge you, 10 cents for a bag. They save some money that way.
Yep.
Anyways, you can get some great prices there to get all your necessities. I'm a big fan of Trader Joe's. If you have one in your area, I can fill up a whole little buggy at Trader Joe's and spend less than $100. You can have a shopping spree, and it's a great deal. But another thing people need to do is buy generic, and this is offensive to some people. So they go, "Don't take away my Oreos."
Absolutely offended right now.
You're like,
you want me to get sugar rounds?
You want me to get the far out fruities instead of Fruity Pebbles?
That's exactly right.
But here's the truth, John. Most of those products are made in the same factories and the same lines with the same ingredients.
You can buy look at next to the Cheerios, and you buy just the cellophane bag of Oat-O's, right?
It comes in the bag, you get worried. It has to be in a box.
That's right. It feels a little less secure and stable.
I will say milk in a bag is disconcerting.
Not going to have it.
I just want it in a carton. But that's a big way people can save is going generic. I know there's some deal breakers there. Like toilet paper, I'm going name brand. I'm sorry, I have trust issues.
Deodorant? I'm not hedging on that one.
You're not going with the Dollar General branded?
I am a snob when it comes to deodorant.
You smell great.
I appreciate that.
It's working.
Thank you.
Another thing to do is buy things in bulk that you naturally would eat a lot of, right? So buying a huge bag of rice from Costco, that could be a great deal. That's going to feed your family for a long time. But people assume that buying in bulk means a better deal. And the truth is it doesn't. Here's what I want you to do. It's a quick, fun little math experiment. You take your phone out when you're at the grocery store, divide the price by the ounces.
Well, now you're asking people to do work, George, and I just want to go to the grocery store.
They're not really hacks, are they, John?
Sounds like you're making me do math.
Yes, but that math is going to make your life better because you're not going to feel inflation as much.
I have a 6th grade son, and he's working through math, and he asked the other day, when am I ever going to use this? And now you're telling him in the grocery store?
Yep, I'm telling Hank, buddy, there's hope for you.
There is
you
hope
will
for
use this.
I think that's disconcerting.
Not the Pythagorean theorem, but just basic math. So do the math on those ounces. Don't assume it's a good deal because it's at the wholesale club and you're buying it in bulk. That's a big one. And there's this new thing called shrinkflation that is driving me crazy personally. So if your breakfast bars used to be 1.5 ounces.
Oh, yes. Is that what it's called?
Yes. Now they're charging the same price, but they shrunk it down to 1 ounce instead of 1.5 ounces.
I opened a bag of something recently, and I thought it was all air. I had to look in and say, what happened to it?
You thought you grew.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I'm the big friendly giant, like the BFG. What has happened? So it's called shrinkflation?
Shrinkflation. It's a real thing. Yeah, and companies are doing this to save money without changing their price. Because if you go, well, my breakfast bars were, I like Lara bars. We like those. We eat those. And you go, it used to be $5. Well, now Lara bars shrunk the ounces and charge the same $5 so that you never notice. You're none the wiser, John.
You're just a little more hungry.
This is how they get you.
They got me.
So there's a lot of ways. Obviously, meal planning, but let me tell you, meal planning is a lot for a lot of people. It just feels too aggressive. So I like to say start with foods that you enjoy, that you're willing to eat, because if you're not willing to eat it, you know what happens? It goes in the trash. And that's how inflation really gets you. You don't even eat the stuff you bought because you thought you were going to be in the mood for kale salad.
And
classic scenario.
Nobody's in the mood for
and
kale
then you
salad.
go, we're getting pizza tonight.
That's right. Well, I think it's important to also say, and I know this, people are going to roll their eyes and say, oh my gosh, you're giving leftovers are a thing, and don't be above leftovers.
I'm a big fan of leftovers.
I am too. We're huge. They're huge in our house, but I know that can be offensive to
and
say
if you
that.
hate leftovers, become a better cook, and then you'll like leftovers. It's amazing how that works.
Shots fired.
Yep. Coming at you, America.
And there's a whole bunch of folks out here from Chick-fil-A. You guys have done a great job keeping the prices down, so way to go, guys.
Big fan of Chick-fil-A. I've got my own Chick-fil-A hacks that I'll share at another time, but I like to go budget-friendly. My wife does not. Her meal somehow is like $48 at Chick-fil-A. Mine's like $4. I'm getting the kids' meal.
Oh, I did
I'm
go with you one
swapping the toy
time.
for the ice cream, right? They understand.
Yeah, no, I was with you that one time.
Yep. John saw me order a kid's meal, and I was in the car with him, and they thought I was his child.
Yeah, exactly. They thought, man, don't see a lot of middle schoolers with a
sad
full
moment.
beard, but we'll go with it.
Here's what it comes down to. Do a little bit of math to figure out what is this meal actually costing me. Is it costing me $20 per person? Because that's not a good way to fight inflation. Right. But if I can get it down to, $3, $4, $5, that's a great deal.
And let's just call it out. Like we laugh, joke, we joke, and we have a good time. I know that there are people who are really hurting with the food prices.
Oh, absolutely.
They're hard, man.
Yeah.
And things were already compressed and tough and tight, and millions of people looking for jobs, trying to move jobs. This is a messy time, man. And so I just want to acknowledge it. Sometimes there's moments, when you're working people's mental health and you're working people's money, like I don't have an instant solution for you other than to say, I'm sitting here with you, and I'm sorry.
And
you know
that's
what I mean?
my solution is let's get creative and let's make it kind of fun.
Yeah,
and at least then it takes a little bit of that sting away, and you feel like, man, this kind of what other areas can we do this in? Another one is gas. That's another thing people are worried about. And I use an app called Gas Buddy. They're not a sponsor, but if you're listening, awesome app that shows me the cheapest gas in my area, and usually it's the wholesale clubs.
I didn't know that.
Sam's or Costco. And so those are great ways to just do a little bit of math. But don't go to the gas station 48 miles away to save 2 cents a gallon.
That's right.
Also do the math on that and go, that's not worth it. I'm saving 20 cents to go an extra 20 miles.
Yeah.
Don't do that either.
Very cool.
Or stop driving. That's a good way to do it too.
Carpool.
I'm a big fan of that. A lot of people that work here at Ramsey in my neighborhood, and sometimes I'll just hitch a ride.
That to me is where I like that. I like to see communities come together and say, we got some local challenges. What are some local solutions to some of these challenges? We're going to have people over once a month. Back in when I had a group of friends, we had an event called Rotisserie where we just rotated. That's the cheesiest name ever, I know. But we would just have once a week, everybody would take their leftovers out and bring them over. And there'd be half a bottle of wine. And it was an old school potluck. And we just rotated houses. The rules were no one cleans up. We're not. Like if there's laundry on the floor, there's laundry on the floor. We want to hang out, and we're going to clean our fridges out. And these are folks that were way better off financially than me. It wasn't about necessity at that point. It was just about community.
Yeah.
And it turned into something that was great financially for us all too, right?
Yeah. And this will all blow over. So we're not saying this is your new life and you have to shop at this new store and you have to get gas over. This is just to help you guys out during this time so that you have a little bit more margin in your budget. And that's why we teach the baby steps, by the way, because if you're in debt, inflation is hitting you a lot harder than when you've got 3 to 6 months of expenses sitting in a savings account. Yeah. You've got no one, you don't owe anyone anything. Whew, you can sleep at night, not worrying about the extra 20 cents at the pump.
And this is going to blow over. Inflation will regulate back down. They'll do something else but don't let intentionality go by the wayside.
Yeah.
I love the idea, even if it's for a few cents here, a quarter here, a couple dollars here.
It adds up.
Be intentional. Let this be the moment you say, I'm going to start being intentional with how I spend my money, whether it's on a bag of rice or for a car or for a home or anything in between.
A lot of wisdom there.
We'll be right back. scripture for today is Psalms 145, 15 through 16. The eyes of all look to you, and you give them their food at the proper time. You open your hand and satisfy the desires of every living thing. John Bunyan says, you have not lived today until you have done something for someone who can never repay you. Whoo, I like it. Say that one more time. You have not lived today until you have done something for someone who can never repay you. John Bunyan. I love that, man. We live in such a networky and ROI and what can this relationship do for me and that one. Just do stuff for people who can't repay you. It's incredible. Way to go, man. All right. Find out for yourself why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window covering. You get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run every month, you'll save even more. Use promo code RAMSEY to get the best deal. Rules and restrictions apply.
Today's question comes from Vanessa in Alabama. She says, I've been listening to your show at work, which is almost all of the time. You've helped me realize that it's possible to get my head above water, and maybe I won't have to live like this forever. My question is, do you have any suggestions for preventing burnout when literally working 6 to 14 hours per day, 6 to 7 days a week? When I don't work due to being exhausted and worn out, I stress about my debt. How do I get out of this cycle?
That's such a great question. So most of the time when folks are struggling with burnout, there's a couple of things here. One, people get burned out when they feel a sense of futility. I am running and I'm getting nowhere, right? And so there's something important about keeping progress notes. We see those people make the charts and they have like the temperatures where they're gauging the debt. My wife and I, when we were paying off our 6 figures for the student loans, we had those like chains that we made out of construction paper, and we wrote each loan on them, and my son was involved, and we hung it in our bedroom, and we tore one off every month. So we got to see it coming, and it felt frustrating, but I got to see the progress, right? So one is that sense of futility. The other is this stress and anxiety about the debt. And so often when we stress about a thing, we try to solve it by going after the thing even harder. I want you to think of stress maybe like a teeter-totter. And when you feel something stressful over here, come all the way over here and do some other things. So the Nagoski sisters wrote a great book called Burnout. They talk about, man, if you're feeling like this type of, I can't get it out of my head, it's looping, go work out. Go sleep. Go be with people. Go have community, right? Go do some of these other things that your body is going to relax and chill. And come back to this plan, right? You're working hard. Let's make no mistake. You are working really hard, and this is for a short period of time. This is finite. You are sprinting for your life, and we all go through seasons when we have to live like this. I'm in one of those seasons right now, right? We're about to launch a book. We're running and running and running and running. It's busy. It's exhausting, but it's for a season. And my wife and I talked about it. My kids and I talked about it. I've talked about it with a few of my friends. This is a season, and it's going to be this way for the next 4 or 5 months, and then we're going to be able to breathe, right? So there's something about the finality to it. Where are we going? Am I taking care of my body and things over here? And when you find yourself stressing out about a particular thing, stressing out about my debt, I want you to write down, I'm working hard to solve it. Like, I want you to be intentional, like getting the thought out of your head and being able to look at it with some distance on it. And writing a note to yourself, I'm really doing well. I'm working hard on this thing. Debt, you are about to be gone from my life, right? Be intentional about your positive self-talk, right?
Yeah.
So there's a couple things you can do there. But at the end of the day, just make sure you've got some markers. If you're in the gym and you're trying to lose weight, if you are trying to get out of debt, I don't care what you're trying to do, make sure you keep some sort of progress record with yourself so that you can measure it, but more importantly, so you can not ever fall into that futility trap.
Yeah, humans require that sense of progress, which is why we talk about behavioral, psychological stuff more than math around here.
Absolutely.
But there is a piece of this where maybe you do need to get tactical and write down and reverse engineer and say, all right, I got $50,000 in debt. I make $70,000 busting my butt right now. What is this going to look like? Okay, $4,000 a month for this long. I can pay it off. Here's my date. I'm going to celebrate. Here's what I'm going to do when I become debt-free. Here's what I'm going to do to celebrate. I'm going to get my friends. We're going to go on a trip. Whatever that looks like, dangle that as the carrot in front of you so that you have that why, the vision around it. But man.
And you brought up a great point. Little wins, huge. right? Little wins are humongous.
Celebrate every 1,000 or 2,000 you pay off.
That's right. Every time you pay off a credit card, take yourself out to dinner, right? Or every time you pay off something, don't take yourself out to dinner. That's going to get you further in debt. But do something, right? Find a way to celebrate, have some friends, or whatever that looks like for you. But little wins, celebrate along the way.
I love it.
Fantastic.
Great question.
All right, let's go to Nolan in Riverside. Hey, Nolan, what's going on?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
We are awesome. How about you?
Good. So I have a sort of a decision to make. So I am looking at schools. I'm 24 years old. My fiance is 23 years old. We are getting married in May.
Congratulations.
So she'll be my wife. Thank you. So she'll be my wife in May. I'm finishing up with my master's degree right now, and I should be finished by April, so right before the wedding.
Awesome.
I want to go into an EDD program, an educational doctorate program.
Sure.
Starting in August, but she wants to also go back to school, get her master's degree, also starting in August. The problem is with the finances. We're just unsure if it's the right decision. In baby steps, we're in step 3. We have no debt. I'm paying for school, cash flowing it per class, and that's what the plan was to do when we start in August or the fall.
This sounds like a perfect opportunity for a death match.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. No death.
I want us both to go. It's just we don't have an emergency, like a 3 to 6 months of emergency fund.
Sure.
We only have $1,000 saved up. The wedding, honeymoon, all that stuff is going to take most of our expenses.
What's the EDD going to get you, Nolan? What are you getting an EDD for?
It's going to be in public health. So right now I'm getting my master's degree in healthcare administration.
Yep.
And
where are
I
you
want to
working?
get an EDD in public health.
Where are you working?
I do clinical research.
Okay.
So
for a university or for a private company?
A private company.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what will that EDD get you right away?
Yeah, so it would actually get me nothing right away. Long term, it could mean that I can have a higher position in my field, project manager, CTM, vice president.
How old are you?
But I'm 24.
Okay, yeah, you told me that. All right, so here's a common thing that I see, especially when I was working. I sat on dissertation committee. I would review dissertations. I worked with doctoral students a lot, okay? So here's a thing that I see that is real common, and you can avoid it all, is somebody going through getting their bachelor's degree, going into their master's degree, and then going straight into a doctorate program. And here's what happens. When you get out with a doctorate, you're 24 now, so you're going to be 28. You'll have 4 years experience. You will be credentialed to run the whole operation wherever you are. But you won't have the wisdom or 15 years or 10 years experience that it would take to run that operation. So you'll find yourself in some sort of no man's land where you'll have a whole bunch of debt, and nobody in their right mind would hire you just because you have a certificate. They want you to have the experience, and that credential is really important, so I don't want to undermine it. I got a couple of them myself. But you're going to find yourself in a no man's land. What I'd love to see you do is take 2 years after a postmaster's and work like mad. Learn everything. Become the go-to person there. Take people out to coffee, learn how this thing works, get really into the research, but not only the research part, but the politics part, the funding part, the grant part, all that stuff. Spend your time there and let your wife go to school. And then when she's done, then y'all can decide, all right, what's next for us when it comes to graduate school? And that way you don't have to worry about the money parts. You don't get all wound up in who's going and I'm not going to go. I think it's a great moment in your history to just pause for a second. You're going to get that doctorate. You for sure are. You're going to run the organization, but give yourself a time to get the professional experience and wisdom that you're going to need to do that job. I want to thank George Campbell. George Campbell.
So close.
What happened, man? I added a B for no reason. You're an A+ guy. And everybody in the booth, especially James Childs. Thank you, America, for listening to us. We'll see you soon right here on The Ramsey Show.
Did you know you can listen to The Ramsey Show on your smart speaker? Just tell Alexa, Google Assistant, or Siri to play The Ramsey Show podcast. Check out all Ramsey Network shows on your smart speaker today.